Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are wrestling with a truly enormous, a systemic problem. Data storage.
It's everywhere.
We are just drowning in it. The sheer volume is staggering. The sources we're looking at predict that by 2025, the global data sphere will hit 175 zettabytes.
And that number is almost impossible to comprehend.
I know, I tried to find a good analogy. Okay, if every single byte were a grain of sand, you could fill the entire Sahara Desert 3 times over.
That scale is, well, it's mind-boggling, and it really highlights why our current technological backbone silicon is under such immense strain.
Right.
Silicon's been the gold standard, of course, but it has these severe limitations. We're not just talking about the finite lifespan of the devices,
You mean having to migrate data every decade or so?
Every decade, exactly, and that's costly. But it's also the environmental strain.
I think that's a crucial point people often miss. It's not just that your thumb drive dies, it's the whole infrastructure.
Exactly. Data centers use vast amounts of energy just for cooling and operation. It's a huge carbon footprint. And then there's the manufacturing things like lithography. It's costly, and we have a dwindling global supply of refined silicon.
So the whole system is unsustainable at the pace we're going.
Completely. We're using finite resources for systems that are basically designed for planned obsolescence.
Okay, let's unpack this. So if traditional storage is running out of physical ingredients and energy capacity, we need a complete paradigm shift. This deep dive is about finding a solution that offers truly infinite memory, one that nature has, well, already perfected. We're diving into the source material that calls this radical alternative, DNA storage, the living library.
And the sources confirm this isn't science fiction anymore. It's happening now. DNA storage is a potential game changer, just because of its extraordinary density and, its inherent stability.
So we need to look at the old way versus the new way.
We do. We have to understand the difference between the old method, which we're calling the binary bottleneck, and the new hypothesis, which is all about leveraging DNA, to really see why nature holds the key.
Okay, so let's start at the root of the problem. The binary bottleneck. Any traditional tech, whether it's silicon, magnetic tape, whatever,
Right.
it takes all this complex information and has to forcibly convert it into the simplest language imaginable. Zeros and ones.
And that's where the inefficiency starts. Right there, we're trying to shoehorn this incredibly complex world of information into just a two-state system.
So it relies on static encoding.
Completely static, and even when researchers first tried to use DNA, they were still stuck in that binary mindset.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, they were still just trying to map a binary unit, a bit, onto a DNA unit, a base. But DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, it naturally uses 4 base molecules.
Adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine, the A, C, G, and T.
Exactly. But the old binary bottleneck forces us to treat those 4 natural states as if they were just 2.
This is where that analogy from the source material just clicked for me. Think of that traditional binary method, that flattening process. It's like trying to store a huge, complex 3D object.
Like an oak tree.
Yes, a big, beautifully structured oak tree. And you're trying to force it into a flat, rigid cardboard box.
You have to break the branches, you have to crush the leaves just to make it fit into that restrictive 2-dimensional space.
Exactly. You lose all the structure, you invite fragility, and you waste so much space because that conversion process is just so restrictive.
And that fragility costs us. It costs us in error rates and the need for constant energy-intensive backups.
Which just accelerates that cycle of planned obsolescence we talked about.
Precisely.
So now let's contrast that crippling process with the solution. Living library.
The DNA difference is, it's profound. As we said, it's nature's blueprint, and it's using those 4 bases. So we're moving from a 2-letter alphabet to a 4-letter alphabet.
And the physical payoff is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, the capacity stats in the research feel almost mythical.
Wait, so is the rumor true? Can we actually store the entire internet in something smaller than a grain of rice?
Theoretically, yes. In a microscopic sense, the sources cite a predicted capacity of 455 exabytes of data per single gram of single-stranded DNA.
455 exabytes.
Per gram. And to put that into context, the entire Library of Congress. It takes up hundreds of millions of cubic feet of physical space. You could store that digitized hundreds of thousands of times over in just a few milligrams of DNA.
That is density we could never ever achieve with silicon. It's a solution optimized by evolution itself.
And think about the long game. Longevity. which is crucial for true archival storage. Traditional systems, their lifespans are measured in years, maybe decades, but DNA has an estimated half-life of 521 years.
Right.
And that's under just, appropriate storage conditions, not even ideal ones.
And if stored optimally, if you store it in a stabilized medium like silica, which researchers are exploring, that lifespan shoots up to potentially over 2 million years.
2 million years. We're talking about information preservation across epochs.
Absolutely. Plus, the energy consumption for the actual storage component is significantly lower compared to flash memory. It just sits there, stable.
So DNA doesn't just store data, it preserves it in a fundamentally stable, dense, low-energy way. Like a library designed to last for millennia.
That's the living library metaphor. Endless aisles, unbreakable architecture. It is the ultimate archival medium. But, and this is the critical point, just having the medium isn't enough.
Right.
We have to overcome that static binary method to actually use all that capacity.
I've read about those capacity limits, but I didn't realize the encoding scheme itself was the main bottleneck. So if the medium uses 4 bases, the real problem is how we talk to the DNA.
Precisely. Converting restrictive binary data into DNA sequences, it introduces immediate biochemical constraints. Nature doesn't like perfectly regular or simple patterns.
For example,
You can't have homopolymers, which are just long runs of the same nucleotide, like 5 A's in a row. Those sequences cause huge error rates during synthesis, the writing part, and sequencing, the reading part.
So if you're trying to crush that 3D oak tree into the cardboard box, the static binary encoding, the sequence you get is structurally fragile when you try to build it in the lab.
Yes. And the sequence also needs to maintain a balanced guanine and cytosine content, the GC content, ideally between 40 and 60%. If it's too skewed, the DNA strand just becomes unstable. High error rates again.
And the old static mapping schemes just forced the data through without caring about these biological realities.
Exactly, which limited the usable density to that really inefficient 1.57 bits per nucleotide we mentioned earlier.
That makes perfect sense. You're forcing complex data down a narrow pipe with simple rules, and the structure itself just rebels.
That rebellion is costly. It limits how tightly you can pack everything.
This is where that next breakthrough comes in. The digital traffic jam analogy. In the traditional method, forcing all data through the same static rules, especially when you get these patterns that violate the constraints, it causes a digital traffic jam.
That's the perfect way to put it. We have to use all this extra redundancy and error correction, which just eats up all the space we're trying to save.
So how does the new hypothesis, these digital pattern-aware codes, how does that clear the traffic jam?
This is the most significant leap forward. DNA storage is shifting towards digital pattern-aware codes, or DPDNA. So instead of statically mapping zeros and ones,
Look, dynamic.
it's dynamic. It analyzes the incoming binary patterns before it even starts encoding.
And the theoretical upper bound is 2 bits per nucleotide, right?
Yeah.
2 binary bits into 1 base. Is DPDNA designed to actually hit that maximum?
It's designed to maximize the use of that high-density channel while minimizing the violations. It uses a pretty sophisticated multi-encoding approach. It looks for binary patterns that are naturally high frequency.
The ones that pop up all the time in normal data.
Right. And it immediately applies the highest possible density code, that 2 bits per nucleotide, to those patterns.
So it's like creating express lane for the most common traffic.
Exactly. But for the patterns that are low frequency, or the ones that tend to cause those structural problems, the homopolymers, the unbalanced GC content, it briefly routes that data onto a safer, slightly lower density lane.
It prevents the traffic jams before they can even happen.
Yes.
So the DPDNA approach is like dynamically adjusting the road based on traffic. It sees a pattern that tends to cause a wreck, a digital pileup, and it reroutes it. But the vast majority of the data gets to zoom through on that 2 bits per nucleotide express route.
And that adaptive flexibility is the breakthrough. The results in the research are stunning. This dynamic approach can achieve up to 103.5% higher encoding densities than the previous static work.
Wow.
We are finally leveraging DNA's native language intelligently. We get density without sacrificing stability or inviting errors.
Okay, that's compelling for archival, but it brings up a huge real-world challenge. Capacity is incredible, longevity is unmatched, but we can't wait months to get our data back. What does the research say about the latency, the speed of writing and reading?
That is the critical practical question. And right now, let's be clear, DNA storage is best for cold storage. The data you access maybe once a decade, not every second.
So the bottleneck now is the machinery.
It is. The limitations are in the speed of the synthesis and sequencing machines. The process is still relatively slow and, frankly, high cost. The research is very open about this. We've solved the density and longevity challenge, but we haven't solved the throughput challenge. Not yet.
Understood. But let's look beyond just pure storage. If we're going to put the world's most sensitive data in a test tube, we need security. We need access control.
Yes.
It's not enough to just archive it. We need to know who has permission to actually read it.
And this is the next frontier: managed molecular memory. Researchers are now integrating database functions directly into the DNA using nanotechnology. Specifically, they're using these reconfigurable DNA nanostructures, DNA origami domino arrays.
So we're building tiny molecular hard drives that have built-in permission systems like digital access control. How does that even work at a molecular level?
It relies on molecular triggers that act as highly specific digital keys. The source material describes two types. First, there's the admin key.
Right.
This key is a non-specific biochemical trigger. In this case, it's clenau polymerase, which is a very common lab enzyme, and it can universally transform all the different DNA carriers.
So the admin key is the master key. It opens everything, a one-to-many relationship.
Correct. It grants universal access, but then you have the user key. And this is a very specific set of DNA strands, custom designed to only transform one particular nanostructure.
A one-to-one relationship.
Exactly. It limits access to only a designated block of data. It protects user privacy.
That strikes me as a huge security improvement over, say, standard cold storage, where if someone gets access to the tape, they get everything on the tape.
Precisely. Here, they'd need the specific molecular key. And they've proven this works. They used atomic force microscopy to decode encoded messages. They put multi-format data on there, like the phrase DNA nanotech, and even a little heart icon.
And what did the test show?
When the correct user key, or the admin key, was applied, the data decoded perfectly. But, and this is the crucial confirmation, when mismatched user keys were applied, the data remained completely unreadable.
So it's not just theory, it actually works.
It confirms that the system enforces controlled, secure, and managed access, all at the molecular scale.
That's incredible. It shows that DNA can offer the same kind of secure, managed access we expect from modern digital storage, but with all those added benefits. You get data that is permanent and private.
And if we connect this back to the bigger picture, that shift from the static, restrictive binary bottleneck to leveraging DNA's native, complex, four-base structure, that is the fundamental breakthrough. That's the living library.
And when you pair it with dynamic encoding like dpDNA, you get incredible density while keeping it stable.
It's finally feasible.
So what does this all mean for the immediate future? I mean, we've solved the theoretical problem, but the biggest remaining challenges cited in the research seem to be about cost and waste.
Yes, the high cost and the toxic waste associated with current DNA synthesis techniques. It's a huge hurdle. We need a massive advancement in automation and miniaturization.
So taking it out of the big, expensive lab.
Exactly. Right now, the procedures for writing and reading are labor-intensive, slow, and expensive. So the key challenge researchers are tackling now is, can we automate and miniaturize the whole process? Maybe using microfluidics to create a fast, cheap, and sustainable lab-on-a-chip system for all the world's data.
That's the true challenge for the Living Library's expansion, isn't it? The future of data isn't just about density, it's about sustainability, portability, making information permanent, cheap, and accessible for millennia.
And until we solve that, DNA remains the ultimate archive, just waiting to replace the data centers of today.
This deep dive was sourced from insights provided by our partners at Varia. You can explore more of the groundbreaking research we discussed today, including all the details on digital pattern-aware codes and molecular access control on their website at Varia One.
It's definitely worth checking out.
And if you found this mind-blowing, and I mean, how could you not? The idea of 2 million year data retention is just incredible. Please take a moment to leave a 5-star rating and a review on your podcast app. It genuinely helps the algorithm find more science lovers like you. Thanks for diving in with us.